Hi everyone, and this morning I'm just going to go through some settings and some little hints and tips when you're setting up your home video station for whatever it may be, Zoom, or for dialing into the meeting to assist, or just generally doing talks or exhorts, whatever it may be that you're recording. So the first thing we're going to talk about is framing your shot. Now, in terms of videoing, uh, the thing that you want to be in the field of view is the thing that's of the most interest. Now, it's generally noticed and recognized within the filming world that there are three parts of your screen: the upper third, the middle third, and the lower third. And the picture, if you're presenting yourself, should be somewhere between the upper and middle third. So your face framing should be towards the top two-thirds of the screen, and the object that you're filming should be taking up the most of your screen. Now, just to make it more simple, I'll just give you an example. For example, if I move back, I'm now not the main focus of the screen. Also, my audio quality will drop down as well. So let's come back in again. Lucky my chair's got wheels. So, and now I'm the main focus of the screen. Now, if for example you're reading from a book, a sheet of paper, or even reading from the screen itself, what you may try to do is to have whatever you're reading from as close to the same eye level as the camera itself, so it looks more like you're actually talking to the camera, as opposed to having it down below you where you're leaning down, and of course your face drops out of that field of view. In some extreme cases, if your screen is tilted too far back and you're using an inbuilt camera, for example, when you lean forward, for example, when you're giving a prayer, if you lean forward, you may find that it changes the audio volume, but also your head drops out of the frame of the picture. So having it in the top two-thirds is quite handy. The other thing is that in video worlds there is something called a lower third, and that enables people within the video community to put words and announcements, or as you've seen in the past, our Bible readings. We can step through the Bible readings and they come up on the lower third of the screen. So that's sort of like a reserved area for those sort of things. Great, so that's talked about our top third, our middle third, and our lower third. And we should be sitting, as I say, two-thirds on the screen. And the frame of the picture should be as much of you as possible, because we want to see you at the end of the day. Now, the other thing is that where you film is critical as well. So if you're filming with a window behind you, care has to be taken to make sure that you don't have too much light source behind you. Now, I'm going to show you an example, and I'm going to use a flashlight to give you an example of how light can affect the shot, so quite dramatically. Now, it's going to be excessive, and it's going to be bright, so just expect it. So here we go. I'm going to move a light source from in front of me. That's a bit spooky. Now you'll see where the lighting is critical as well, because you'll be seeing shadows behind me, and if for example that light is too bright, it'll wash out my face. My face looks way too white. Now if I turn that light to face away from me, I'm still getting the advantage of the light, but it's not pointing directly at me, which is a good thing. So that's diffusing the light. In video communities, what they do is they put a opaque piece of glass or plastic in front of the light, just to actually drop down that light, what would you call it, the brightness of that light, and to diffuse it so that it doesn't hit you square on. And they also use different color temperatures for different things. Now this is a cool white light, So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that light and I'm going to put it behind me as if it was a window, or perhaps even a mirror that's reflecting light. So let's put it behind me. Now that's the equivalent of having a window that's behind you. Again, you can change that by turning the light around, but then it creates highlights. So the best thing to do is to try and avoid having a window behind you, and if you have a window in front of you, if you can diffuse the light a little bit, what that will do is cut down the amount of brightness that hits you square on. And the other thing with light is, if you're using natural light, especially in Auckland, that one moment it's cloudy and the next moment it's sunny, that can change things as well, because your camera will have to adjust to that light change. And if you can use an artificially generated light that's not overly bright, that will be a little bit more predictable, and your camera won't have to try and refocus every time the light level changes in your room. So that's just a starter. And as I say, internal microphones and laptops are great, but for example, if you're using an internal microphone as opposed to using a headset, the internal microphone itself will have its own auto sensitivity, and it'll try and look after the volume of the speaking that goes into it. However, that can also be a problem as well for us when we're doing live talks, or for example giving prayers. And I used the example before of a laptop screen when you're having it tilted forward and backwards to change your camera level. The same thing happens when you're using your audio. For example, if you do an audio test and you're talking directly to the microphone, that's not a problem. We can get the levels right, and things don't change. However, and I'm going to give this is probably a little bit more of an extreme example. If I'm going to give a prayer and I lean forward to give the prayer, as most people would, all of a sudden that's going to get very loud. So all of those things have to be taken into account when you're a video guest, and or if you're presenting. So I hope that gives you some sort of idea as to things that will help you when you're doing your videoing, and also make it a little bit easier for the people at the other end who are viewing, and also the people that are producing the video. Hey, take care, and hopefully we'll have some more videos coming out with hints, tips, tricks, and things that might be able to help you going forward.